Ooh, what's this? Samurai's Live. Hey guys, is this working? Can you hear me? Germany's online. Oh, good Lord, that's good. Well, guys, here we are, Samurai's Live. Enjoying a beer. Cheers to all my brothers and sisters out there. Prost. Friends in Europe. So I don't even know what's going on, if people are watching. I'm getting some thumbs up here. This is trippy. So all your guys' comments are just showing up on the screen right here. So I guess we're just hanging out, having a beer. It's what we do in the future. I'm actually just sitting here talking to my cell phone. But no, this is a real conversation that we're having here. So it's so weird not hearing people's voices, just seeing all their stuff here. Hey, Stu. Holy crap, the comments are just flying by. I can't even keep up with everybody here. I guess I can scroll back. Whoa, trippy. I got a little question there. What's the wood behind me? These are just a couple of elm slabs, I believe. I got them milled up for a client like a year or two ago. They've just been drying out. Hopefully they'll be ready this spring. They're about like 14% moisture, so they got to come down another couple percent before I can build some furniture. And my clients want me to build some tables and stuff for their place. They just renovated their place, so I'm looking forward to building all that furniture and getting these freaking slabs out of here, so I have more room for more wood. So, oh my goodness, how do I know so much for Tibet? I can't even. I'm just like trying to read the comments. They're coming so fast. This is crazy. Oh, we got friends from Edmonton. What am I drinking? Oh yeah, that's what we gotta talk about here. Well, this guy over here is already empty. I'm not drunk, but I am a cheap drunk, so by the time I finish this, I could very well be half cut. This is a Category 12, which is like a local brewery here in Victoria. Category 12, oh, amazing beer. So good. So this was a Simplicity Ale. Just pounded that sucker back. I'm more of an ale guy. I know everybody's like IPA and stuff. I'm not IPA. My palate hasn't developed a love for IPA quite yet. So I stick to the more ales, lagers, saisons. I love like a saison, like a seasonal type beer. This one here is a rye, barrel aged farmhouse saison. Like I've never even found a beer. Typically, you don't age saisons in like rye barrels and stuff like that. So this is a really unique one, also from a local brewery, Spinnaker's here. So it is really tasty, I'll tell you that, and it's higher alcohol content because it's aged in rye barrels. So friends from Lithuania, Ontario, all over the world. This is trippy. California, England, holy crap. Thailand. Cheers, Thailand. What's the rent like in Victoria? The rent like in Victoria is stupid. If you want to rent like a 1-bedroom apartment that's decent, you're looking at like $900 to $1,000. 2 bedrooms are like 13, 14, up to like 1,700. And if you want to rent a whole house, you're looking at $2,400 to $2,800, $3,000 sometimes. So it's really pricey to live here in Victoria, but at the same time, if you own property, the house that I just bought a couple years ago, for all you guys that have been watching this channel for a long time, you've been watching the story of me converting this barn and the shop. Beer's coming up, but this place, we just in the last 2 years, we haven't even owned this place for 2 years yet, and it's already like the property values like jumped like 30%. So I've already got a ton of equity in this property and I haven't even owned it for 2 years. We got our assessment back this last year and I was just like, what? Like the property value went up like $200,000 in 1 year. I was like, what? So we're pretty pumped that we got into into the market now because prices are just like going out of control like they are in Vancouver on the mainland. So typical house here is like $600,000-$700,000 if you want to get a decent house in Victoria. And if you want anything nice, you know, like a 3,000 square foot in a really nice, like decent neighborhood, you're looking at like $1 million plus. So it's getting stupid. So we're glad that we got in. We got in like when it was still decent cheap, and now it's crazy. Notice me! Oh, somebody's feeling left out. What's the next project on my house? The next project, well, I gotta get that fireplace done. I don't know if you guys ever watched that little home renovation I did, like I raised the sunken living room in my place, knocked out a few walls in my kitchen, put some new flooring down, and I left the fireplace like gutted because I tore off all this heinous rock that was on there. Like 70s, like volcanic. Oh, it was just a nightmare. So I ripped that off and it's just all cinder block. And it's been that way for like, a year and a half now. So the wife is kind of like, really, the shop? Getting all your love? Can we just get a fireplace? So that's definitely priority number one once we get all the siding and the exterior done on the barn here. So that will be the next house project coming up in the spring. I'm gonna rip the whole deck off because it's all rotting and just falling apart. And so the spring, big deck job in the spring with stairs coming down to the back patio. We're gonna do a whole new brick patio, bunch of landscaping in the backyard just to make it a really awesome place. So that's what's going on here coming up in the spring. So yeah, a lot of like renovation type stuff. I know you guys, a lot of you want to watch the woodworking and furniture building, and I'll try and fit as much of that in as I can. But we bought this place, it was like a dump when we bought the place. Like livable, the inside was nice, but the outside it was just a rental. Some guy had been using it as a rental property and done nothing. The roof was falling off this barn, as a lot of you guys saw, and it hadn't been touched in years and was just like dilapidated and garbage. So I've been rebuilding that this whole time. And the whole exterior of the house, all my windows are toast. The thermal panes have all gone in them and they're fogging out. And the roof's okay, but the exterior is just falling off the house. So I gotta do a lot of work on the house as well once I finish this barn. So it's just, when you get a property, I'm of the mindset where I'm just like, I gotta make things better, and I want to make everything that I touch, I just want to make it better. It's like it's just like a breed of people, I guess. It's like everything we do, we just want to do it awesome. And so whenever like the last house I bought, I spent like thousands of dollars like redoing all the landscaping, putting in a patio and stuff like that. So that's just what I do. Like, I just can't stop working. As soon as I sit down in the yard for a beer or whatever, I'm just like looking around. I'm like, I need to rebuild that fence. I need to fix this. I should put a hot tub here. Oh yeah, that's another project that's coming this summer. Once the patio's done, building a cedar barrel hot tub. Come on, that's gonna be amazeballs. Soaking in the tub, looking at the shop, beautiful private backyard. It's gonna be a little oasis when I'm done with it. Oh my goodness, I can't keep up with all these comments. Beer. Cheers to that. Hey, Samurai. Hey, JT. Okay. How much do I make on YouTube? Wouldn't you like to know? Now, typically with YouTube revenue is not, it's been kind of taking a major hit this last year just because so many people are uploading so much content. It's just like content overload, and there's only so many advertisers. Obviously, there's more and more people advertising, but it doesn't keep up to the content. So, what you used to make per 1,000 views, it's typically called your RPM, revenue per mil, blah, 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 computer jargon. It's basically what you make per 1,000 views. And it was like 250, but now it's dropped down considerably just because there's so much content available. So YouTube revenue is, I had hoped it'd be a little bit more than it has been, but thankfully, like the website and, you guys, my fans, my audience, what you guys contribute with your monthly support, that's a huge help. That's almost like, that's almost as much as I make from YouTube. I think I might make a little bit more from YouTube per month, but if I was just relying on YouTube AdSense revenue, I would not be able to do this full time. So, you guys make doing this full time possible. my monthly contributors and the people that donate to this channel. So, huge props to you guys. Cheers to the brotherhood. Drink to that. Well, that's embarrassing. Spilling over myself on live YouTube. Oh, I can't even read these comments are crazy. My favorite wood. I'm a woodworker, man. I love wood. I love it all. Typically, the most common wood here on Vancouver Island, local wood would be Doug fir, old growth Doug fir. Love old growth Doug fir, but it's a softwood, beautiful grain, straight grain, fun to work with, but it's not as durable as hardwood. So I love that. If I could build everything out of walnut, I'd build it out of walnut. But walnut is like $14 a board foot here. So do the math on that. It's just stupid expensive. So that's why you only ever see me using walnut. It's like little feature pieces in all my projects. But the cheapest hardwood I can get here on Vancouver Island is Western maple. That's what I built my French doors out of, and it's like $360 or something a board foot, and that's as cheap as it gets. Like anything cheaper is like poplar, like paint grade hardwoods. I'm not into paint grade. So I love working with it all. Maple, oak is a beauty. I love oak. I could build everything out of oak. It's just so durable. You drop it on the floor, it's like, oh, it's not even dented, whatever. So how did I get started in woodwork? Well, let's just say I didn't pay attention in school. So coming out of high school, I was like, I'm not going to university. Forget that noise. And my dad's kind of a jack of all trades, renovator, do whatever, pays the bills. And so he had a lot of renovation work. And so I worked with my dad for a while, and he kind of cracked the whip on me, taught me how to work and just have good work ethic. And then, how it is working with your family. I was just kind of like, his style wasn't the same as my style. So I was like, all right, we parted ways. It was amicable. We're still good friends. I love my dad. Dad, you're probably watching this. Let's drink to you, Dad. Here's to good dads. So from there, I worked with a few construction companies and just learned from whatever carpenters were, foremen were running the job, and I just kept up, learned as much as I could. Eventually, my ego expanded, and I thought, hey, I'm too cool for school. I'm not working for nobody else. I'm going to work for myself. So I went out on my own. And telling you, when you're self-employed, that's when you really get an education. You're the only one you're relying on to pay the bills, so you got to really smarten up and be good at business in order to survive. And so, I just took on jobs and whatever work I could to pay the bills and learn. And when you're working by yourself or just with a couple helpers or everything, you got to figure it out on your own. So I found that just putting myself in the pressure situation of like, hey, your clients are expecting you to do an awesome job in a reasonable amount of time, and they're paying you top dollar, so you better get it done and know how to do it well. So in that situation, you just learn as quickly as possible, and that's kind of what's shaped me, is just get in the fire. That's the mentality I have, is just throw yourself in there. You see a project that needs doing, and you're like, this is outside of my skill set. Screw that. It's not outside of your skill set. Just do it. Just get on YouTube, figure out how to do it, and put the tools to the wood. And sure, you might screw it up, but you're going to learn a ton along the way. And if you persevere and get it done, it's awesome. Worst project disaster. I don't have disasters, because that's what makes a good craftsman. We all make mistakes. But the good craftsmen know how to hide their mistakes and do a good cover-up job. I call myself more of a magician, really. So, do you watch Matthias? I've seen a few of Matthias's stuff. He's a character, that guy. So I would say that I've seen a few of his videos, but I don't follow his stuff. He's an engineer. His channel, it's like an engineer's approach to woodworking, and it's pretty quirky, and you can definitely tell he's not a woodworker, he's an engineer that works with wood. And so a lot of his stuff is pretty neat. He's kind of an inventive kind of guy, but doesn't really appeal to me. For me, the focus isn't so much the tools, it's what I can accomplish with the tools. So I have no desire to build my own bandsaw out of wood, because building them out of steel is much more efficient. And so kudos to that guy for figuring it out and getting it done. Cheers to you, Matthias. But at the end of the day, I don't want to pass on a bunch of tools made out of plywood to my kids. I want to build awesome stuff and have people drive by homes and be like, whoa, who built that house? And they'd be like, the samurai built that house. Haven't got there yet, but hey, I'm dreaming big. You aren't drinking enough. Sorry, I'm cracking the whip over here. You watch AVE, do you? Yes. I don't follow AVE. Honestly, guys, YouTubers that create content like myself, we don't have flipping time to watch YouTube because just getting the videos up is like a full-time job. And I got 4 kids, 3 of which are still in diapers. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I do respect AV. He's a fellow Canadian, British Columbian. Obviously, that's why he's so awesome. So I think the guy's hilarious. I love his personality. Him and I could crack a beer and just jibber jabber on until the break of dawn. But the fact that he doesn't show his face in his videos, I got mad respect for that guy. And nobody actually knows what he looks like. I think that's kind of half the charm of his channel. All you see is his hands. I love Duresta too. Cheers to Duresta. Durista? I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Oh my goodness, you guys. Slow down. Wrangler Star give you a shout out. Yes, he did. I like Wrangler Star. At first I was like, oh my god, this guy just talks and talks and talks and talks. So, you either love him or hate him because you either get along and you share his opinions or you don't. But you gotta respect the guy, man. He's living his dream. He's got the farm, he's got the land, he's got the shops. It's like he's just going at it, just like me and all these other YouTubers out there that are working it out until they can get enough money to move out in the country and build their own little heaven, right? So I've got it pretty awesome here at the shop, and I'm not complaining at all. Excuse me. And I love my situation right here, but ultimately my dream is to move out into the country pretty much like every other maker YouTuber out there is to get a big plot of land somewhere where you can have a nice driveway with a gate and woods and nobody can see what you're doing on your property and just have some privacy and live the dream, build what you want, do what you want, and just have that freedom. Oh, my little boys are outside playing. Pretty cute. Oh my goodness. How long have I been woodworking? Since I got out of high school. So that's like 15 years. I'm 33 now. Yeah, 15 years, dude. I'm getting old. How are things with Makita? Pass on that question. Haven't heard from them in months. Good riddance to Makita. Paul Sellers. Don't know much about Paul Sellers. He's kind of a work with hand tools kind of guy. Seems like a solid old chap. Builds stuff, teaches people. Respect to Paul. Hey, Turkey. Hey, Alaska. Okay, you can't write these comments that are like a paragraph long because they're scrolling through the page like so fast. You got mad skills for 15 years. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gotta make a living, so might as well be good at it. Good day from Australia. Building a man cave. Good on you. Okay, whoa. Your daughters love watching my channel. Maybe I should clean up my mouth. Okay. Justin Reuter. Make sure you watch my videos before you show them to your children because I can't always guarantee the content's going to be PG. As many of you know. Where did all the... Whoa. Bang. Oh my goodness. Samoa. Pacific Islanders. We got lots of Samoan friends here in Victoria and love Samoa. Can't wait to get out there one of these days. Israel, cheers to you. God's chosen people. All right. Uruguay. Man, people are just tuning in from all over. Ireland. Whoa. Still speak Dutch? No, I do not speak Dutch. My dad came over from Holland when he was when he was 4 years old, so he can understand the language, but he can't really speak it anymore. My Oma and Opa just passed away. My Oma just passed away like 2 weeks ago or whatever, so they were the last Dutch-speaking members of the family, so we're all Canadian English here. So Minnesota, we had some Russians there, Ukraine. Oh, you saw the husky. Whoa, where'd it go? Oh, I lost it. But yeah, I bought a new husky. As you can see, this is the 3120. That's the biggest freaking saw they make. 120 cc's. I bought that so that I can run my mill with a single power head. You know, my Alaska mill, I got set up with two 660 stills. Oh my gosh, this beer. Excuse me. Hey, Romania, Sri Lanka, Latvia. Whoa, man, whole world's watching me right now. This is kind of weird. But yeah, I got that bad boy so I can run my mill with a single power head. So stay tuned for a video on that. I'm gonna go back and slab up another oak tree, set up my mill with the single power head and see if it cuts as fast as the duals. I'm highly doubting the fact that it'll cut as fast as two 660s. Because if you add up those, they're 90 cc's each. So that's 180 cc's. That's like a dirt bike. So I'm thinking that's, you know, it was making a slab on a 3-foot oak tree in like 3 minutes, 7 feet long. So I'll do a little time test to see if the single power head can match that. And if that's the case, if it cuts just as well, I'll probably just have my mill set up with a single power head. That way I can run it as a one-man kind of a thing and not have to have two guys holding the throttle on both sides. And then I could probably just sell off one of my 660s. I'll only pay for that thing because it's like freaking expensive. But hey, if you're in the market for a big ass saw because you're wanting to get in Alaskan milling, if you live in Canada, I don't know what the prices are like worldwide, but these suckers are like this huge price cut on them. These things are selling for less than the $395, which is like a 90 cc faller saw. Those things sell for like $1,600 here in Canada. This is selling for $1,400. This is a $2,000 saw here in Canada. And then for some reason they like made too many of them in inventory. They had too much inventory or something. But so everybody's price now for dealers for the Husky 3120s are $1,400. You're not gonna find a cheaper saw anywhere else because I'm a Stihl guy, but I couldn't beat that. The Stihl equivalent of that 120 cc saw was like $2,100, just the power head. And so I got that thing with a 37-inch bar and like 4 chains for like $1,600. So couldn't beat that. So I got a Husky now, and the thing runs beautifully and tears through the wood. I haven't used it much, but I'm going to. I got some Spanish brothers, Ontario. Cheers from Montreal, East Coast. Drink to the East Coast. Kudos to you guys for living in that frozen dump. No, I'm sure the East Coast is beautiful, and the summertime, you know, Ontario and all the lakes that you guys got out there, that looks pretty beautiful. I watch you guys on HGTV, all you guys living out on the lakes there. It's pretty gorgeous, but I don't do cold winters. Live here in Victoria, and the worst we do is like -3, and that's cold enough for me, thanks. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, beyond the Rockies, I have no desire to really spend a lot of time beyond the Rockies, especially in the winters, because BC's just got it all. And yeah, well, we're kind of cocky bastards about it, but you can't deny that the best of Canada is in BC. But you do have a lot better, you got more history over there on the East Coast and all the founding of the country and all that wonderful stuff. Oh my gosh, my battery's dying. Shut up. All right, hopefully I got enough battery. I got about 20% battery left. I had it at 3/4. This thing is just sucking up the battery like crazy. What up to you, brother, man? Hey, North Carolina, shout out. Northern California, South Dakota. All right. Baltimore, T-Dot. 20% sucks. Yes, it does suck. Wrangler Star is watching. Hey, Codes. What's up? What camera do I use to film? That's a good question. I use a Nikon D750. I was into photography before I ever got into filming my videos. So I just got into Nikon when I first started, and once you kind of know the brand and you're used to those cameras, you just stick with it. I know they're not the best for film and video, but I really like my D750. I don't know if you guys are satisfied with the video quality, but I like it and it works for me. So I haven't really tried anything else, and I don't really plan on it unless somebody gave me a camera for free or whatever, but I just use what I got. So I got some really nice glass, like a good lenses, the 2.8s, 24-70, so that's like $1,800 lens, and I got a wide angle lens. And so once you have all that glass in one type, it's like you don't want to switch camera brands because you got to sell all your lenses and that sort of stuff. So I just stick with Nikon. What do I think of Trump? Let's not go there, guys. Well, should we go there? No, let's not get political. I will say this, Trump has absolutely no social grace, and he's a bit of a buffoon on camera. But I can't fault the guy for not being a man of his word, because he's doing what he said he was going to do. So as far as a politician, he's the president, and he's actually doing everything he said he was going to do. So I'm just enjoying the show right now, and kind of in shock that there's a politician running a country that actually is doing what he said he's going to do. Whether you agree with it or not, whatever. The guy's keeping his word. So in that sense, this is kind of like, whoa, this is like a first in history, or at least the history that I've been paying attention to. So I enjoy watching all the gong show that's going on Facebook with all this political nonsense and stuff like that. But ultimately, I'm just worried about my family and building stuff and keeping my life, as comfortable and wonderful as it can be, and making this world a better place just by doing what's in front of me. I don't really get wrapped up in all this political stuff, or I try not to anyways. Trump is making America great again. Well, I hope so. He's creating some jobs, and the economy seems to be doing better, so time will tell. That's kind of my mantra. It's like, you give the guy 4 years, and we'll see. We'll see how good a job he does. And I just hope that all those lefties are ready to eat their words. If he does do a good job, and if he doesn't, well, then all you guys can say you called it. Who cares? How do I afford? Well, that's a question a lot of people have. And I'll tell you that I think money and being able to afford to do what you want in life and have this sort of stuff, it all comes down to this right here, the mind. If you have a mindset of, poverty or just scraping by because, that's all you've experienced in life, like, I understand that. That's what I grew up in. I grew up piss poor, and we didn't even have, like, a well water that we could drink, living on a little acreage just down the road. Excuse me. We pumped water out of a mud hole in the ground, and the water line was just laying on the ground all the way up to the house. In the wintertime, it would freeze, and my dad and I would have to go out in the morning with a propane torch. I love this because I was a kid. I got to hold this propane torch and walk along the water line and thaw it out with a tiger torch when I was a kid. So it's like I grew up piss poor, and so I understand just kind of that mindset. But in the last few years, I've kind of shifted that, and my beliefs now are not beliefs of getting by or just being able to afford, the bare minimum in life or whatever. My beliefs now and my mindset is one of wealth, and that opportunity is available to me, and unlimited wealth is available in this modern age that we live in. And it's ultimately up to me to find a way to get my dreams and make them a reality. And so I don't rely on anybody else. I don't blame anybody else for my problems or my circumstances. And trust me, I got plenty of problems. I got plenty of crazy circumstances in my life. My first son, if any of you guys know, was born severely disabled and wasn't even supposed to live beyond the womb. Was supposed to die, and doctors were telling us to abort him because he wasn't going to live and all this sort of stuff. And we were like, screw that. And we just believed that he was going to live, and now he's 9 years old, and he's still got a lot of special issues and dealing with brain damage and digestive issues and all sorts of stuff. So it's like I understand, life throws a lot of crappy cards your way, but that doesn't mean that you can't overcome and just push through and still achieve your dreams, right? So for me, my little thing that I always take in every situation is, don't be insane. And what the definition of insanity is to repeat the same process over and over, but expect different results. Kind of a paraphrase or whatever, or half-drunk samurai definition of insanity. So you got to ask yourself, are you insane? Are you going to the same job every day, getting the same paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever, and expecting that you're all of a sudden going to be rich, or you're going to get promoted, or somebody's going to think that you're amazing and give you all your dreams? It's just not going to happen. What you're getting right now for the work that you're investing into your life or your job or whatever is what you deserve, and it's what you can expect. And if you're expecting something different without doing anything different, well, you're not going to get anything different. That would be insane. So I had to challenge myself, because I was working as a contractor, and just making paychecks and, living a comfortable life. We didn't own a house or anything, but we paid our rent and had our bills paid, and, we were living comfortably. Well, I was getting nowhere. We had no savings. We had nothing. It was just paycheck to paycheck. And ultimately, I just had to come to the realization that I was insane. I was thinking that I was going to somehow have some breakthrough, and somehow somebody was going to be like, hey, you're the contractor I've been looking for. Let's build $1 million houses, and I'm going to pay you so much money. And that just never came around. It never happened. 10 years in the trade, I was just paycheck to paycheck the whole time, and sitting across the lunchroom at a job site one day looking at these old carpenters. I just realized, that's me, in 30 years. I'm just going to be a 60-year-old carpenter doing what I'm doing right now, because you can only make so much money as a carpenter in the trade. And so I realized, I was like, you either have to do something different. You either have to do something different if you want a different result. And so that's when YouTube kind of hit me, and I thought, I've just got to give this a shot. It's no risk. YouTube's free. I can upload content. So ultimately, it's just a time investment. And I've done that, and here I am, winning at life, because, I've been able to develop an audience that you guys watching, and, creating this community and adding value ultimately is how you get somewhere in life, and if you're just adding so much value in your job, you're only getting paid for that little amount of value that you add. But if you can add that value to a massive number of people's lives, like what I'm doing through reaching an audience of hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people that have watched my content, right? That value brings a greater return. So ultimately, it's a numbers game, you guys, and you got to get out there and do something different if you want a different result in life. That's just the facts, and I happen to get, blessed, and YouTube worked out really well for me. I know a lot of people are struggling trying to get their YouTube channels going and stuff like that. I'll say to you guys, it's like, you got to ask yourself their honest questions. If your YouTube channel isn't growing, guess what? It's because nobody gives a shit about your content. I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm trying to encourage you. You got to be honest with yourself. If your YouTube channel isn't growing, it's because people are watching your stuff and they're not acknowledging the value that's there. The value might be there, but maybe you're not selling it with enough entertainment. Maybe you're not drinking enough beers on camera and being honest with people about your life. And that sort of stuff that makes you real, right? If your numbers, and your views on YouTube aren't growing, you got to do something different. And I've always looked at my channel, and my channel's changed a lot over the years, and I don't even know which direction I'm set on going in. I look at, how YouTube and the platform is changing, and I think, man, maybe I should go a different way. Maybe I should start just vlogging all day today, what I'm doing and how I'm getting all this sort of stuff worked out, because vlog channels seem to be doing really good on YouTube because of the way their algorithms work. And so who knows, I might change my channel a little bit more and just make it like a daily video of figuring stuff out and problem solving and putting tips out like I did in the last video. Everybody seemed to really like scribing that post under the stone. It's doing really good. So it's like I'm just watching the numbers and adjusting as I go, and constantly being willing to change and willing to try things differently. Okay, so that's what brings value into your life, is having that growth mindset of, okay, if I'm stuck in a rut, I got to do something different to get out of that rut. That's the bottom line. So, get out there, try something different, and all of a sudden you can afford to buy these tools, you know? So it's like I'm making a better living now than I ever did as a contractor, and that's how I afford all these sorts of tools. And I have plans to grow and to add more value, which will in turn increase the value that I get in return, right? It's simple principles that really do bring about it. And I know a lot of people are like, well, just give me a step-by-step process of how to succeed in life. And it's like, you can't. Building wealth, you know, looks different for everybody, you know, but everybody will agree that it's like you have to have the right mindset. You have to believe that success is available, you know, and you're not cursed or you're not stupid or whatever. You can do all the other things that other people do. Like, I've met tons of millionaires and people that have insane amounts of wealth. And ultimately, when you go out for a beer with those people and you shoot the shit with them, they're just average, everyday people. They ain't no smarter than you. And they don't do anything different. A lot of them have the same habits as you. So when you come to that realization that the only difference is kind of what you believe about yourself and what you believe about what's available and what can be accomplished, that's the difference between the super wealthy and the people that just get by in this life. So there's my little rant on that. Washington State. Slabs for sale? No, I got plenty of work for these slabs, but I do have a lot of slabs these days. So who knows? If you come to Victoria, I might sell you one. Cheers from Australia. Cheers to you. We got family in Australia, Phillip Island. Cheers to Oz. USA first, Samurai second. You're funny. Want a taco? I could go for a taco right now, but kind of the empty stomach and the beers treat me kind of good right now. I'll get my buzz on. Tacoma. My wife's from Seattle, so I know a lot of you guys watch my channels and see my tiny house build that I did for my in-laws. They have a little vacation property in Vashon, and we spent summers down there. So I know Seattle and the Northwest area pretty well. Alberta, you guys are probably experiencing some nasty cold right now. Ever do lathe work? Ever watch my channel? I just put out a video on a bunch of lathe projects that I did. Jeez, people, gotta keep up. Cape Cod, it's in the East Coast somewhere. Small town, probably. Cheers to Belfast. I'll drink to that. I'd like to visit there one day. Texas, 81 degrees. Well, that's what happens when you live in a desert. We got friends in Texas, too. Texas is, I'm sure, a nice place. And my family's watching me through the window right now. Oh, that's funny. Gulf of Mexico. Cheers to you, Mexico. Man, these comments are ridiculous. Texas doesn't suck. Well, depends on your perspective in life. I would never live in Texas personally, but there's a lot of good people down there. I will agree that the quality of the people down in Texas is awesome. The terrain and the landscape, I would never live in Texas. Saskatoon, the Boons, Scotland, the Germans. Why Samurai? What? Make some sense, guys. Ask me some questions here. Plans for the house. Oh my gosh, this is going so fast again. You like midweek shop updates? Finland. Where do you get my music from? My videos? I get all my music from premiumbeat.com. It's expensive to buy the copyrights for the tunes that I use. It's like $60 or $50, $60 American per song, which adds up to a lot Canadian. But you gotta have a good soundtrack to make your videos really hit people, right? So it's worth it for me because I got a lot of views on my videos to pay for the music. But there's a lot of copyright music sites out there that you can get music for pretty cheap from. But I found that Premium Beat has the highest quality soundtracks. How do you feel about the flat earth? What the hell is that? I don't even know what you're talking about. Van versus truck. Oh, van versus truck. Van all the way. Okay, for you guys that are like, I gotta have a truck, I'm a contractor. Okay, good for you for having a truck. You try hauling your tools in and out of the back of a pickup truck every day. It's ridiculous. You have yourself a contractor van. You just open up those side doors. You got the low bed. You reach in, you get all your tools. You got way more room than a truck bed. You put sheet goods in there. Everything stays dry. As far as efficiency on a job site, everybody knows a contractor van is the most efficient vehicle for working as a tradesman. No contest. Religious, I wouldn't call myself religious, but I do believe in God. So people are like, what's the difference? Well, the difference to me is I don't follow like an observed set of rules of I can't do this or I can't do that. I believe in Jesus, that he is who he says he was, the Son of God, all that sort of stuff. And that ultimately I will have eternal life through believing in him because he paid for my sins through his death on the cross. So other than that, I live in grace. And what's grace look like? Grace is, the Bible says that, all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. Meaning, if you want to do your life or live your life a certain way, it's like you can live your life that way. Like there's freedom, you're not, but certain things are going to give you certain consequences. So pay attention, certain lifestyles are not healthy lifestyles. So you kind of need to look at the fruit of your lifestyle. Is it bringing forth love? Is it bringing forth good fruit? Like, are your relationships healthy? Is your marriage healthy? Like, all these sorts of things that you can observe as a human being, can lead you into a path of love. And ultimately, that's the kind of the guiding principle, is that the difference between what I believe as a Christian is that the difference between Christianity and every other religion is that Jesus paid the price for our sins. And there's no other religion that preaches that God himself came and took on the burden of sin, whereas like other religions preach that, you need to pay a price for your sin. You need to do so much good for your sin, whether you got bad karma or you have done X, Y, Z that you shouldn't have done. Now you need to pay a price or live righteously and do so much good in order to pay off that bad work that you've done or those bad things that you did in life. Christianity is different. Christianity is you get to rely on the grace of God because he paid for all those bad things that you've done in your life, and you don't need to carry guilt for that or condemnation for that. There's no condemnation anymore. So it's kind of an ultimate freedom for me. I experienced through my faith is that, there's a right way to live, and I'm working that out day to day. And honestly, I'm making a lot of bad choices, and I'm making a lot of good choices. But the grace of God covers those bad choices as long as I'm willing to just acknowledge that and learn from it, right, and move into the right direction in life. And personally, what I'm experiencing right now is like, sure, I got a lot of shit in my life that I'm still dealing with and bad choices that I'm making. But for the most part, I am pursuing love and healthy relationships, and my marriage is doing really well, and my children are growing up to be wonderful children. And I'm being blessed, with financial wealth through the mindset that I've acquired through reading the scriptures of the Bible. And so for me, it's just a matter of the fruit in my life is telling me that I'm on a good path. And so that's the path that I've chosen to be on. And it's bringing forth blessing in my life. So it's like, if you want to be on that path, you can find that path too. It's that simple. But you can also believe something different, and you might find certain rewards and systems. I'm not going to tell you that I know the truth. I know the truth myself personally. I believe, without a doubt that God is who he says he is, but ultimately I can't tell you without a shadow of doubt that this is the truth. Nobody can prove it. Everything in life is lived by faith, right? And so whether you believe in a religion or you believe in nothing, ultimately you're believing in something, and that takes faith, right? So a lot of people say there's no faith in life, or there's no religion, or there's no spiritual stuff, but it's like everything you believe, because nobody was there at the beginning, everything is in life is faith, so you have to make up your mind to believe something, and that's just what I've chosen to believe, and it's brought an immense amount of blessing into my life, right? So I encourage people to look into all sorts of spiritual walks in life, and the spiritual walk that I've found is the walk that follows Jesus. That's just my personal thing, and I'm not going to preach that everybody needs to do that, but that's just the success that I found in my life, and I encourage people to try it out. That's the funny thing about it, right? Everybody's so freaked out about religions and stuff like that. Because yeah, you can get carried into a lot of stupid shit. My parents got caught up in cults when I was a little baby and all sorts of crazy stuff. And there's nasty stuff happening in the religious world. I'm not going to deny that. But if you listen to your heart, like really your heart, and you let that guide you, and you have healthy relationships in your life, like you'll find that, following the path of love, which ultimately, Jesus is the definition of love, in my opinion, as far as like sacrifice is concerned, if you believe that he was who he says he was. And that's just brought about so much fruit in my life. I can't deny it, right? So for me, it's very real, but for you, it's something that you have to work out yourself, So in that sense, it's like follow your own path, but at the same time, don't lie to yourself, and don't get caught up into some works type stuff, because when you're I have to do this every day, or I should be doing that, and you're putting like guilt and condemnation on yourself, man. Guilt will just kill you. Condemnation will kill you, and you're always going to be, tempted to do these bad things. And if you're condemning yourself for that, it's like, ooh, don't do that, man. Believe in your heart that you're good, that you're made in the image of God, and that your natural design is to do good things. And once you believe that in your heart, you'll find yourself making good choices and bringing about good stuff in your life. And, if you watch my channel and just like the 2-year journey that I've been on, it's like you can see like all this good that's come about in my life just because I've had my heart in the right place, and I've been trying to help as many people as I can and inspire as many people as I can, right? So, okay, because whatever, I don't know, something about Parmesan cheese. What are people talking about? Oh, what was that question? Do you have any other hobbies? No. Camping. I love to go outdoors. I love to be out in nature and just experience the joys of being in the wilderness, in the bush, and whatever. That's kind of that's what keeps me grounded. It's been a while since I've been on a camping trip. That Della Falls trip that I made a video for was the last time I've been out camping, and I've been like, I need to get in the bush, but the weather kind of sucks here in the wintertime. It's all rain. So in the next couple of months, I'll be getting out for a trip for sure, just to kind of keep myself connected to nature. I find that I get caught up in especially all this social media, computer, and the busyness, craziness of life. It drives me crazy. When you get out in the bush, it's like it's just you and a fire, and a tent, and the stars, and life just makes so much more sense when you're camping. Yeah, you like the Della Falls, dude? I'm glad you liked it. It was an epic trip. I plan on doing that one again and again and again. Take my boys out there. It's going to be awesome. What? Do you make while camping? I make fires while camping. I make food while camping. I chop a lot of stuff with my axe. And I like to whittle spoons and forks. Every time I go camping, I try and like whittle like a fork or a spoon to like eat my food with. It's kind of just a fun experience. How's Justin? Justin's going good. The guy's steady. He's just head down, work, kind of a quiet guy, which is nice. You just give him a task and he just gets on it and does it. And so in that sense, he's working out really good. He's a solid guy and smart, I find that when you hire younger guys, it's like you got to teach them everything. The only thing they know how to do is wipe their own ass. And even that, they probably fail half the time. So when you got a guy that's got a little more life experience, I think Justin's around 30 years old, they tend to have a lot more common sense and just not make as many stupid decisions. So in that sense, I'm glad I got a guy with a little bit more life experience, who's willing to do whatever to get the job done, right? Well, somebody's talking about Festool. What do I think about Festool? I don't think about Festool. Nobody can afford those stupid tools, and honestly, I don't think they work any better than other stuff that you can buy. So, sure, you're going to get a little bit better and some more features on a Festool, but unless you're building cabinetry or doing like really like repetitive type work, like Festool for me is designed for like cabinet makers and production carpentry. So it makes sense for a lot of people, a lot of guys that work with a lot of sheet goods and finishing carpenters and that sort of stuff. But as far as like just general woodworking and stuff, it's for me, a lot of those features are redundant, and I'm not going to pay those prices for them. I can get the job done just as well with other tools. So So I wouldn't invest in the money of Festool. Like, the only thing I really like about theirs is their vac systems. They seem to work really well, and nobody else is really producing a good dust collection vacuum system from what I've seen in the stores and stuff like that. So, I would work with that, but all their stuff is like proprietary. It only like works with Festool stuff, and so you gotta either go all Festool or not. So far I'm not going all Festool. Never heard of Firm Tools. Biggest failure in my job. Honestly, I don't keep track of my failures. I keep track of my successes. Don't dwell on your failure in life. That's one way to get depressed. I do like the domino joiners. I've never tried them, and I honestly wanted one for the longest time, but nowadays, because my job isn't so much focused on like you have to produce so much work in an 8-hour period, working by the hour. Now I really enjoy just doing traditional joinery and not using like these kind of sped up systems. I'm sure the dominoes are super strong and super time saving kind of systems to use, but I really love just cutting the old style mortise and tenon joinery and making it all fit together and taking that extra time. And I can do that because of my lifestyle now, and I'm grateful for that. I know a lot of people can't take the time to do all this fancy joinery, and I understand that. So the domino joiners are really a cool tool for guys that gotta just get the work done fast, right? Are you able to sell your plans in Metric? No, I am working on that. I'm trying to start with the workbench plans. I'm gonna do a model of my workbench in Metric, and send it to my guy Brian, who does all my plans for me, and get that out to you guys. So that will be in the works, but it takes a lot of time to like go back and basically rebuild all your models in Metric, and then get the plans made up and set that up on the website. So it's right now it's just me and my business partner who does all the website side of my business, and that is all we can kind of do right now. So we'll get the plans out in Metric eventually, but it's going to take a couple months. So workbench is the sexy. Hey, now there's only like 5 of you guys. Now there's only like 5. I can actually keep up with your comments. Sorry guys, we got cut off there because my battery died, and I realized, why the heck don't I have my phone plugged in? I'm in a shop, I got power right here. That's how technologically illiterate I am. Oh my gosh, can't believe that. I'm thinking my battery's dying and I'm panicking. I'm sitting in a shop with plugins all around me. All I gotta do is bring a charge cord down here. Wow. I think I'm gonna lay off the beer for a little bit now. Would I ever do a woodworking project with my wife? I would do a woodworking project for my wife, but not with my wife. She's not a maker type. She's a maker in the kitchen. She can cook like a beast, and that's her gifting, but she's not confident with the tools and that sort of stuff, nor does she have any desire. So it's like, I'm not gonna try and push that. More beer, yeah. How did I meet my wife? We met working up at a summer camp together. We were both volunteering at a Young Life camp called Camp Malibu. If any of you guys have ever heard that, it's up in the BC coast. And just paradise out there. We were both volunteering, and she was gorgeous, and we fell in love. And the rest was history. 4 boys later. So yeah, we've been married for 12 years now. Long time. So I highly recommend marriage. The greatest adventure / challenge of your life, but well worth it. Need some leather shit. Dude, here we go. Let's talk about leather for a second. My biggest goal for 2017 is to get my leather tool vest into production. So that's kind of my goal for 2017, is to get that thing going, so that I think I'll probably need to start like a Kickstarter or something. So mission number 1 is for me to make some project videos, obviously, of me redesigning the vest. I've been wearing that vest for a couple years now. I love a lot of stuff about it. That's actually the second version of the leather tool vest that I've made. So I'm gonna add a bunch more features, tweak a few things, make it that much more efficient for working. And then I'm going to take that and actually talk with some manufacturers about producing that and getting that product available on my website. So that is the goal for 2017, but it's a lot of work to like not only just get the vest to where you want it to go, but then actually talk with manufacturers and work out all the pricing and that sort of stuff. So because I don't have that kind of crazy money to just be like, I want 10,000 of these vests, like we'll have to do some sort of a Kickstarter. So stay tuned for that. It's on my priority list for sure. But as we know, we got a lot of projects going on here, and I don't want to start another thing and then not be able to finish it just because I got so much stuff going. So trying to get the household kind of locked down for a little bit for the summertime. And then I think probably my fall project will be to really focus in on that and try and get manufacturing and all that sort of stuff dealt with. But hey, like I'm a woodworker. This is a whole like new area of expertise, so I got a lot to learn in that process. But eventually that is the goal. We'll have the Samurai tool vest available for people to purchase, and I will never ever wear a tool belt again. And once you've had a tool vest like that, it just makes life so nice. I can wear that thing all day long. There's no pressure points. It's just pure comfort. All your tools are right there. It's not jingling. You're not dumping your pouches. It's just, the tool vest is the way to go. And I think it's one of those products that will really, change the industry if we can get it up and running, right? So, but it'll take time. Is there any type of wood I should not eat? Really? Boom. They take a long time to do the stop motion pictures. Basically, I set up my camera on a time lapse, so it's taking a picture every 10 seconds, and then in between each picture, I'm like running into the picture and moving everything like a quarter of an inch, and then jumping out of the frame, and then it takes another picture and then jumping back in. So it's a workout. They're running and out, and trying to create these time-lapse sequences, stop motion or whatever. But it's worth it when you see the finished product. It turns out really good, and it's fun to do. But it takes like 5 or 6 hours to do every one of those stop-motion sequences. I am loving my workbench. This thing is just a dream. Every time I come into my shop, I just stop. I go like, hey, buddy, I just love this workbench. It's just all day. It tells me how awesome I am. And encourages me to just keep building awesome stuff, because I just look at this workbench, I'm like, man, I built this. This is crazy. I'm in shock every time I see it. I'm like, man, I built that. That's awesome. And it's working out great. All the features that I put on it are working out flawlessly. The vise has got insane amounts of power and just versatility. So I got no complaints with this workbench so far. It's awesome on so many levels. You watch sports. I watch football. I watch the Seahawks. So disappointing this season, watching the Patriots win again. Those talented bastards. But no, I do love watching football. But other than that, I don't watch any sports. Am I into guns? Who isn't into guns? I don't have a lot of extra money to spend on guns because I spend all my money on tools. But I got a couple old rifles that my Opa gave me, an old Lee-Enfield 303 and like a 22 that I take out and blast a few times, maybe a year. I haven't actually shot them in a while. For hunting, I like to hunt as close to home as possible, so I got to do that with a bow. So most of the hunting I do is with my bow. I haven't had much luck because it takes a lot of time to get good with a compound bow. But Canucks, disappointment of my life. Who watches the Canucks? The raccoon video. It's still up there unlisted, so I think if you go to my my What's Up Wednesday playlist, you can still find the video in there if you get it to it on the playlist. If you search it, I don't think it'll show up. But if you scroll down my What's Up Wednesday playlist, I think it's still there. But I'm not going to open that up again. All the PETA animal-loving hippies out there were just giving me what for killing a varmint that's trying to kill my clients' chickens. It's like, really? It's a raccoon. You see 100 of them dead on the road every day. You crying and up in arms over that every day, tracking down the cars that ran over these raccoons. Like, whatever. Sorry. I grew up in the bush, and I just don't see eye to eye with all these millennial hippies. saw your hand off. It's not on my plans list at all. I plan to keep all my fingers. My Japanese background woodworking is honestly not. If any traditional Japanese woodworker was to watch my channel, they'd say this guy's not a Japanese woodworker, and I won't disagree with them in that sense. I wouldn't call myself a traditional Japanese woodworker. I'm do whatever I'm inspired to do type woodworker. So in that sense, I would say I'm a hybrid. I love a lot of the Japanese styles. I love the Japanese tools. I incorporate a lot of their joinery in hybrid form. The traditional Japanese woodworking kind of approach is so much history, so much tradition, so many different techniques, and they're all done to specific standards, and every joint has its specific proportions, and takes 10 years of your life to apprentice as a traditional Japanese woodworker. I don't have that kind of time, and I don't plan on doing that. I don't even want to do that. For me, woodworking is about expressing myself personally, and so I'm influenced by the Japanese style a lot, but I wouldn't call myself a Japanese woodworker. I love their tools in certain respects, and a lot of the times I use other tools. I use whatever works for me, right? So I love Japanese woodworking. I love the minimalism, the fact that Japanese woodworking and just their whole culture is about kind of peace and simplicity and minimalism, yet it's very complex and detailed. It's really kind of this poetry type thing, and so I do aspire to that, to just keeping projects simple and practical, yet at the same time challenging and really detailed in certain ways. But I would never, my woodworking, I would never want to do some of these Chippendale Renaissance type pieces with these amazing the woodworking is absolutely phenomenal, and I respect the people that are able to do these, gorgeous, elaborate carvings and pieces and stuff. But personally, I'm just a simple kind of guy, so that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I wouldn't really invest that much time into making some of these gorgeous Renaissance, over the top type pieces. I like the simplicity of just, this is a table, this is what it functions as. Make it beautiful, but keep it simple. That's kind of my thing. Is I want to keep it as simple as possible. Yes, that is a 3120 behind me. It's pretty much brand new. I'm going to set it up on my Alaska mill, if you didn't catch that earlier, and do a few slabs with that for sure. Canadian Red Seal. I do not have my Red Seal. I never went to school. I planned on it. It just never worked out. I ended up getting married and buying a house, and I couldn't afford to take the time off. And so I've just learned everything on the job. That's just the way that I roll. So. I do 2 Red Seals. Good for you. I respect people for going to school and doing all that sort of stuff and getting it done. A lot of my friends have done their carpentry apprenticeships, and it's gotten them all sorts of, great work, and they know what they're doing, right? So in a sense, I would like to have all that information and training under my belt, but I've just kind of reached the point in my life where it's I'm doing okay. I have no desire to go back to school and kind of learn all that sort of stuff. If I have to, I'll hire somebody that has the technical insight for, doing some sort of high-tech concrete pour with all sorts of engineer stuff. So I stay up to date on building codes as much as I can, so I know, what I'm supposed to do. But if I'm ever in doubt, I'll just call some of my friends that are ticketed, and get information from them, and saves me having to go to school and learn it myself. Build me a desk for my room. Yeah, wouldn't you like that? Would I kiss Norm Abram? Okay, you guys are weird. Who inspires you besides the fam? I got into timber framing a lot. I'd say that's kind of what put me on the course that has brought me to where I am right now. So these Ted Benson type guys, Ed Levine and Jack Sobin, these guys that kind of revived timber framing and building homes with all timber joinery back in the 70s, and wrote all these books that you can get nowadays. Those guys inspired me, even though I've never met any of them. Just the guys that brought back the craft, and kind of brought back that love for woodworking. I just stumbled across their books through magazines and that sort of stuff. And I read all their books, and that was where I was like, man, like I want to do this. I want to build a house that looks like a piece of furniture, and all the joints are, actual wood joints, and no lag bolts, and just all wood joinery, but on a grand scale. That's really what kind of pushed me in the direction that has led me to where I am now. And ultimately, I want to, my goal is to build my home ultimately. So where I am right now is awesome. I'm planning on using this wood shop and this property that I have right now to be able to leverage this to buy a property down the road and to build my own home, and basically my masterpiece. So that's, going to be a large project. I'm already actually stockpiling timber and wood for that project, even though I haven't built it or designed it. It's kind of coming to life in my head, like the things that I want to incorporate into my home. And I know this is kind of like probably 5 to 10 year journey from here on out, but that's kind of where I'm going, right? The last 10 years of my life have brought me to like this point right now. And I've been thinking about 2017, like, what are my goals? Like, here I am, like I'm living this dream as a YouTuber, building stuff, and I got this awesome community of woodworkers. Like, I could just sit here and chill and just be happy and like live it out, right? But in my heart, I'm like, no, like this, you're made for more than this, not on a greedy scale, like, oh, I gotta make this bigger, I gotta become, some big brand or whatever. I don't really care about that. But for me, it's like I have to keep dreaming bigger, or else I kind of just flatline and then get depressed about life. And so here I am, so happy and content with where I am, but at the same time I'm like, I got to do something with this position that I'm given, and create some bigger dreams. And so the dreams that I'm looking at now are kind of like scary and intimidating to me, but I'm like, you know what, you just have to take it on, because you never really believed you'd be where you are now. But look, you're here now and you're doing it. Like, dream bigger. And so my goals is to like create a woodworking school where I can actually bring on lots of people and local people and train them and inspire them, and ultimately just grow what we're doing here right now, just this community of like creative people that just want to like live their dreams, right? And so I'd like this channel to have several carpenters that are talented and know what they're doing and want to build stuff, and just have them creating projects, right, in a giant shop that we all built together, kind of a thing, right? And we can do videos on all sorts of different projects, because obviously there's only so much in my brain that I can do, and there's so many other talented people out there, and I want to incorporate as many people into this thing as possible. I don't want it to just be, hey, this is the Samurai Show, here it's all about me, right? Like, who cares about me? Like, honestly, at the end of the day, like, you guys aren't going to shed a tear if I was to die tomorrow, kind of a thing, right? It's like, we want to create value in this life, and each person has so much value to give, right? And so I want to be able to grow this as much as possible, right? We got my apprentice Justin, and he's helping out. We're creating a job for him, and I want to create jobs for more people, and just see where this thing can expand to, right? So that's the dream, is just to make it bigger, like, and not so much bigger as in my head bigger, because we all know my head's big enough, but actually just bring in as many people as possible, and bring in other artists and other perspectives and other styles of woodworking, and be able to have it all focused in this one place. So when you show up to the Samurai Carpenter, you're not just getting my take on woodworking, you're getting so many different things and so many different skills, right? So that's the long-term goal, is to create a facility for numerous artists to build all sorts of stuff and to share information and value, and ultimately make it available to the interweb, so we can all enjoy and learn all this stuff. So that's the long-term goal, and I know it's going to take a ton of money and a ton of help and a ton of investment from all sorts of people, and relationships that I haven't even built yet, but I'm just kind of looking forward to see how it all plays out. And you guys are obviously along for the ride, and so many of you that donate to this channel, you're actually financing this, and you're creating this dream, right? So you're a part of it as much as I am, right? Because you can only do so much on yourself. And that's one thing I've realized. It's like, honestly, we're just human beings. We got 24 hours in the day, and we can only do so much, right? So So you really have to build relationships and expand that vision out and hope it catches fire and hope it grows into something beautiful, right? And that's the plan, man. Keep it up, Jesse. Big things coming for me and my family. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the encouragement you guys show me. And for the most part, sure, there's a couple of troll tools out there that are jibber jabbering on, trying to bring me down. But the majority of you guys are so encouraging, and that speaks so much to my heart. And I appreciate that and the brotherhood that we have, even though we've never met. I've only met a handful of you guys at these few meet and greets that I've done. But eventually, I'm hoping that we can do like kind of a big tour one day once I have a big shop and people can come and visit from all over the world and do, training and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's really exciting to see where this could go. Because honestly, like, we're creating our own dreams right now. There's no rules. We can make it whatever we want. So in a sense, because of the internet and the technology, the opportunity that this has given us is like, man, wherever we want to take it, right? We're all coming together. A large majority are actually investing your own financial resources into like making something out of this channel. And honestly, it's like I want it to be less about me and more about what we're able to build together and what we're able to do together. So, what that's going to look like, I don't know. It's going to take some time, obviously, but I think it's going to be great. What happened with Makita? Nothing happened with Makita. Who cares? Use whatever power tools you want. I'm not. Let's talk about selling out. That's a theme on YouTube and with all these channels, people selling out to big corporations and then people getting brand deals and YouTubers and all this sort of stuff. It just goes with the territory, I guess. But ultimately, I'm glad that I made the decision to stay fan funded only and to just tell everybody to screw off. I get emails like every week. I've turned down Home Depot and Lowe's, DeWalt, Milwaukee, like all these people. And I just say, you know what? I'm not bothering with your stuff. As everybody knows, like Christmas time, all these other YouTubers, we're all getting big shipments from DeWalt and their FlexVolt line. And, they're just buying up YouTube and everybody's making money off it. That's great. Like, they even contacted me, wanted to send me a bunch of tools, but I just said no, honestly, because there's so many strings attached with that kind of crap, you guys. Like the emailing back and forth and what they want you to do and all this junk. And ultimately, it's like you're becoming their property once you sign one of these deals in a way. And it sucked the joy out of woodworking for me. Whereas it's like I was constantly thinking like, how can I get money or in sponsorship from this company to help grow the channel and all this sort of stuff. And I'm so much happier now that I'm just like, we're just doing this fan funded only. Sure, it's going to be a slow process, and only so many people are really going to see the value and want to invest in that. But a huge amount of you guys have stepped up to the plate and helped me with this channel, and it's keeping it going, right? So it's like, sure, I could make $10,000 from DeWalt if I became a sellout to their tools or whatever. But who cares, man? There's so many good tools out there. Just use whatever you want. And I love the fact now that I can just take a tool. If I buy it with my own money, just like everybody else has to. And then I don't have to feel weird if I'm like, I hate this part of this tool, it sucks, or I love this part, whatever. And I don't have any like weird stuff of like, hey man, I can only talk about the good parts of this tool because they're paying me, right? And really, I want to tell everybody that there's this one little feature that sucks and they shouldn't buy it, right? It's just a conflict of interest. So for me, I got to keep woodworking as pure as it is because it's my passion, it's my like love in life, next to my family. And so in that sense, I'm glad that I can just say whatever the heck I want, because everybody knows the samurai is a bit of a maverick and I just shoot from the hip and say whatever's on my mind. So that's what I hopefully I think you guys like about me, is that you're just getting the honest truth from the samurai. And that's the way it's going to stay from here on out, right? So for you guys that are new to the show, keep that in mind. This channel is fan-funded only. Everything I talk about, fancy tools, whether they're from Lee Valley, like this is a fun little dog clamp that you put in your dog holes. And it's in one of their newer tools, and it's got this little cam in here that like pinches your wood, vices it down. Love this new tool. It's pricey. It's like $60-$70 or whatever. But for me, I was like, for somebody who has a workbench with all these dog holes, this is a great tool. I can just say that straight up. There's nothing I don't like about it. If it sells a whole bunch of these for Veritas, good for them. Who cares? I'm not getting a cut. I just get to talk about what I actually like and what I don't like, and I don't have to worry about pissing off some sponsor or whatever, right? It's just keep it honest, man. There's so much blech with the internet and social media and all this sort of stuff. Battery operated circular saws do not suck, bro. I use battery operated circular saws as much as I can. It's like, sure, you go through a lot of batteries, but the fact that you can just walk all over with them and they actually have some good power to them when the battery's charged, I use them as much as I can. I hate corded tools. And sure, Makita treated me like crap, and, there's a lot of their tools that don't work that well, but a lot of their tools are great, and I still use the majority of my tools are still Makita tools because that's just what I own, and I'm not going to sell them because I got pissed off at Makita, right? So it's like, whatever. A tool's a tool, man. Use whatever you want. Everybody's got some good tools, and everybody's got some crappy tools. It's just the facts of life. We can all figure this stuff out. There's not any smoke and mirrors going on here. Certain tool brands make crappy tools. Certain brands make great tools. Who cares what brand you use? Plans for the Japanese garden gate. I'm like this close with some models for my Japanese garden gate. Just getting them dialed, and I'm going to be sending them off to my plans guys. So I'll have two different style gates. One will be like a 6 foot wide double gate. One will be a 4 foot wide single gate. And then I'm going to also try and get a model plan set up for the Japanese gate. The painted one that I did, it's not really Japanese, it's kind of my own style. So I will be getting some of that stuff out there eventually. So, that's one of the ways that this channel makes money is me selling plans. It's one of the actual main income streams for my channel. So I will always keep plans coming as much as I can. But obviously, I only have so much time in the day. And if I'm not woodworking, I'm usually on the computer trying to build these models up and send them away to get the plans built out. And I got a guy out east, Brian Forden, huge shout out to that guy. He does all these plans for me, for super cheap. He even offered to do it for free, but I try and send him some money if I can, every set of plans he does, right? So give a shout out to Brian Forden, because all the plans that are available on this website are because of that guy. I just don't have the technical skills to make it happen, right? I'm just one guy, right? I'm learning, but whatever. Where do you get all the Doug fur you use? I get it from wherever I can. I got a couple of sawmill buddies here in Victoria, and I'll tell you, Vancouver Island is like a woodworker's dream. There's just endless wood resources everywhere, old buildings coming down, there's reclaimed wood, and you can drive out in the bush and get a reclaim permit and salvaged logs that are left over in clear cuts, and there's just so much wood. Like everywhere you look, there's wood. I could spend like thousands of dollars a day just buying gorgeous logs. People are bringing logs down on their properties and clearing for houses, and you can get wood so cheap here. And that's why I'm trying to set up my sawmill operation on my parents' place so I can get like as much logs as I can and just start sawing all my own wood. But could you plane something with the Japanese plane? I actually have it like right here. I don't have a piece of wood nearby. It'd be kind of awkward for me to just walk off and try and find a piece of wood. Oh, wait. There just happens to be one right here. Here's a piece of wood. You'd think I planned this. So if you put the dog in here, let's see. I don't even know which way the grain's going on this, or if my plane's set up. There. Look at that. How's that for service? Yellow cedar. Oh, it smells so good. It's like just the incense of a wood shop. Listen. Oh, that to me is like meditation station right there. That's actually pretty thick. I can get them so that you can like see through them, but the sound that a Japanese plane makes, it's just glorious. But I will say that these planes are a lot of work. Tuning them, sharpening them, keeping the blocks flat and working right. As far as, just practical use, like a North American style plane, this is actually my favorite North American push plane here. This is this is the Veritas Jackrabbit plane. It's one of their newest planes, and it's like a low angle, rabbiting both sides, goes right to the edge. Adjustable throat, It's got like a fence that screws onto these side rails that you can do different angles with. Like, it's the most versatile plane on the market, in my opinion. And I use this thing for just endless jobs around the shop. It's like my go-to plane. But at the end of the day, when it comes to just pure joy, having like a 70 mil Japanese plane, there's just nothing like it when you take shavings with this thing and it's just tuned in. It's spiritual. But I try and keep my head as level as I can with woodworking. Is just like, don't get carried away into like tool obsession, right? Like, tools are amazing, but ultimately it's what you're building with them. And, you know, I'm not going to hand plane all my work. I don't have the time for that, right? So I still use sanders and whatever. But when I can, I try and pull out the plane and use it for as much as I can. But it's just not practical in this day and age when you got so much work to do, right? Have you? Yes, you do need hand planes. Have I had any other jobs other than carpentry? No. Actually, when I first got out of high school, I went and worked up at ski hill as a lifty. You know, snowboarding was my passion, and that was what I wanted to do. So I worked at a lift as a lifty, putting people on a chairlift for a couple of seasons. And I did a bit of landscaping, and other than that, it's all been trades-related woodworking. So I use SketchUp Pro for all my plans and modeling. It's probably the most easy program to learn. There's so many tutorials on YouTube for how to learn SketchUp and 3D modeling and stuff like that, and it's just, yeah, it's awesome. Rob Cosman is in the house. He's actually watching this right now. He's a beast. Dovetail beast. I met that guy one time at like a woodworking, I don't know, home show, whatever, tour or whatever. He was talking about tools. I was like, hey man, have you ever tried using a Japanese plane? And he just like blew me off. It's like, I use North American tools to work with North American woods. I was like, whoa, okay. Obviously that guy's not into Japanese planes. It was funny, but hey, the guy knows how to cut a dovetail, I'll tell you that. I haven't seen too much anything else he builds, but he's got the skills with the hand tools, so props to Cosman. What's this? Another beer. Here, bottle opener. Let's see if I can get this thing open here. Pop. This one is Imperial Mandarin wheat beer. Got some cinnamon in there. Am I a Catholic? No, I'm not a Catholic. I was able to give away the Tanto knife. I sent it to, what's his butt? Justin Green. The sad thing was there was actually 2 Justin Greens that were watching the channel. And one guy was like, emailed me. He's like, I'm blown away. I didn't even know I was entered in the draw. I was like, well, your email doesn't match the guys that got on file here. I'm like, do you have another email? He's like, no, it's my only email. I'm like, oh, well, you're actually not the Justin Green that won. There's another Justin Green. So I got a hold of him, send him the knife. He got the knife. The jerk is still supposed to post a picture on Facebook. Justin, if you're watching, you better put a picture up on Facebook. You got a gorgeous Tanto knife. Come on, man. People, so forgetful. Anyways, he got it. He's super pumped on it. I'm super pumped that he got it. It didn't get lost in the mail because that would have been a tragedy. So yes, the Tanto knife has been delivered, and it's been a couple months. I'm probably gonna have to get on another cool project for a giveaway here pretty soon. Maybe shoot me some ideas. Message me on Facebook with some projects that I should build for giveaways. Can I make lessons? I'm trying to make lessons, man. I'm just one guy. Eventually, if this channel is creating enough financial income, I'm going to hire a team that will videotape and do all the stuff that I'm doing myself personally right now, and that will free up my time to be able to make as many tutorials as possible and have a team of people modeling and getting plans built for all the stuff that I built, and hopefully we can just build a woodworking empire, and so we don't have to get spammed with all this Ted's woodworking bullshit that you see all over the internet. And you can actually get plans that are for awesome projects that you actually want to build. That's the goal. is to make woodworking fun and inspiring and beautiful again, instead of just this mainstream mass production bullshit that you see on so many of these websites. It's like, let's make woodworking a solid, respectable trade again, instead of just don't get me started. Had too many beers. No, I'm not drunk. I am getting my shine on though, as you can probably tell. I kind of calmed down when I freaked out. My battery died. I ran up to the house and I lost my buzz a little bit. But now that I'm cracked into a new one here, feeling comfortable again. Eventually, we got to cut this thing off, guys. I can't just talk all day. But hey, there's 678 people are watching me right now. I feel obligated to just keep talking, but I think it's dinner time. I'll go to reach for my phone. Maybe I am drunk. I'm talking to my phone right now. Like I said before, I don't watch a lot of YouTube. When I do watch, I watch probably a little bit of Wrangler Star. Like, I just puts out so much content. He puts out videos every single day. All these clickbait titles and stuff like that. It's hard not to click and watch the guy. And, you know, most of the time he's doing something cool. He's renovating his wood shop and building stuff. He even gave me a shout out the other day. So I like Wrangler Star. I think he's a cool guy. I'd love to sit down and have a beer with him, head down to Oregon, visit his farm one day. Maybe that'll happen, do a little collab video. We'll see, but right now, too busy. Do you slag lumber? Do you write English? Yes, I go to slag lumber as often as I can, but they got sold recently, and I'm not a big fan of the new ownership and the way they're running that company. It's kind of a shit show when you go in there, and they like cut my credit on my account down to like $5,000. So just stupid stuff like that. And I'm just, not crazy about the service that I've been getting at Slag Lumber. I know a couple of solid guys that have been there for years that I bought from, and so I use them when I have to, but I use Lumber World more than Slag Lumber half the time. You like that stone scribing? Impressive work. Well, I'm glad you liked it. You need to try making wooden puzzles. I'll just leave that to like mass production machines. See, a lot of people like try and get me hyped onto like CNCs and all this like crazy technology and all these different projects and stuff you can work with. But honestly, my goal with woodworking is to build stuff that machines can't build, like this workbench. So all these guys that are hyped on CNC machines and making like cabinetry and stuff, I'm just like, good for you. A CNC machine can do that in a fraction of the time. I don't want to waste my time learning how to do stuff that machines can do 10 times better than me. I'd much rather learn how to do something that a machine can't do, like carve a gorgeous carving or turn a bowl on a lathe, or just, make stuff really unique, stuff that can't be replicated, something that you have to do and put your own energy into and nobody can really replicate it, right? That's my goal with woodworking, is to like keep it real, so respect to guys that, do all these crazy CNC stuff and all the crazy stencils and fancy stuff. It's like, that's cool. It doesn't appeal to me. Like, I respect that people are into that, do whatever you want, whatever floats your boat. But for me, I just try and stay away from anything that could be mass produced by a machine, because that's just, I'm never going to be able to compete with a machine. Why would I try? I'd much rather just push a chisel in a plane and build something that nobody's ever seen before. So that's my goal. Dude, what's with you guys and all this Islam stuff? Just relax. Cedar Strip kayak. I don't think I'll ever build a Cedar Strip kayak or a canoe. I've got this old aluminum Grumman canoe that I take on canoe trips. The thing's indestructible. I've been down like rapids and like smashed into boulders, and the thing just bounces off stuff, and you can't put a hole in it. And if I was to do like the way I camp and the way that I canoe with some beautiful like handmade Cedar Strip canoe, it would just get thrashed. So for me, it's like, that's such a beautiful thing to build a boat out of wood. And I'd love to learn more about like shipwright type stuff and then just the skill that takes. But I don't think I'll ever build a Cedar Strip canoe, just because I already have a canoe. So for me, it's like practical. Like, if I didn't have a canoe, then I'd be like, Cedar Strip canoe, I should build one. But I do have a canoe, so I'm just kind of like, don't need a canoe, don't need a kayak. I don't like kayaks. Down in the water, and your hands are dipping in the water, and the water's dripping down your arms while you're kayaking, and you gotta have a skirt on because the water's like, you're just wet all the time when you're kayaking. Canoe, up out of the water, you're sitting up high, you're dry. Like, canoeing for me is way better than kayaking. What is the current client project? The only clients I have right now is the people that own these slabs, and I'm going to be building some furniture for them, and it's kind of just going to take shape once we get into flattening them out. I haven't even designed the stuff yet, so that'll be coming up probably this summer. Build some cool live edge tables and some other furniture and stuff for them, so look forward to that. Sex, wow, you're a smart guy. Let's comment sex. Wow. These live streams just bring out all sorts of special people. Okay, slow down, people. How often have you gone to Home Depot and told them to suck it? I actually like Home Depot for a lot of stuff. It's so convenient. There's Home Depots everywhere, and their stuff is cheap, and sometimes it's just easier to go to Home Depot. Do I go there for like lumber and stuff like that? No, never. Just for like small stuff. I've even been noticed in Home Depot probably more than like most people. I actually run into people in the aisles and are like, "Are you a samurai?" And I end up sitting there and chatting with people for half an hour because they're fans of the channel and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. It's weird being some YouTube celebrity type guy. So Ron Swanson, I hear that guy knows about me. He's a cool guy. He loves woodworking, and I'm hopeful one day our paths will cross. We can crack a beer, enjoy some whiskey, have a little chat. But who knows? He travels all over, so maybe he'll do a woodworking trip to my neck of the woods. We can hang out. So no, he's a cool guy. What's his real name? I'm drunk. Wow. Have you seen anyone shoot? What the heck? Nick Offerman. That's his name. Wow. Can't believe that slipped me. No, supposedly like people were telling me that they were turned on to my channel from Nick Offerman. He was steering people towards my channel because he's seen some of my videos or whatever, and he liked them obviously. That's super cool. I got mad respect for that guy being a Hollywood actor and stuff, but still keeping it real and being into woodworking. So yeah, it'd be cool to hang out with some of these guys. And one day maybe I'll meet Jimmy DiResta and all these other YouTube celebs. But everybody's on the East Coast. I'm like one of the West Coast guys that's into YouTube, and it's like everybody lives out east in like New York and all these places, and it's like I ain't going out there anytime soon. So maybe if I get this suite finished upstairs, I can like email some of these big YouTubers and be like, "Hey, you want to come for a vacay out to Victoria? I got a place for you to stay. We can hang out in the wood shop. It'll be awesome." And DiResta will come out, and it'll just be this fantastical weekend where we can build awesome stuff together, and everybody will be happy. But we'll see if that happens. Congratulations, you're in France. All right, guys. Well, we've just been shooting the shit for a long time now, and I've had a plenty of beer, and probably I need to urinate. So I'm gonna cut this short here. It's been super fun hanging out with you guys. I think that this has obviously been an awesome thing. Even after my battery died, I come back and 760 people show up. There was like 1,000 before, and half of you came back. Even after I brain farted with my battery phone thing. Whatever. Clearly, I need to cut this off. Hello, Alaska. Yeah, do I grow weed? No, I don't. Most people in BC do, but weed's not my thing. But it's time to get up to the family now. So it's been awesome hanging out with you guys. I appreciate you showing up for this live feed. Honestly, I think this is super fun. Supposedly there's this feature called like Super Chat, where instead of like 90% of your comments like flying by, and I know a lot of you guys have questions that you'd like to get answers to, and you can actually make like a donation. You can make like a financial donation, and then your comment will pop to the top of the list and like stay there, and I can actually prioritize people's comments if they want to donate a little bit of money, and that helps the channel and that sort of stuff. I don't know. I'll figure out how that stuff works. in the future, so that so that people that are like, hey, I'll pay $2 if you'll answer my question, and then I can actually focus in on stuff, because 90% of this stuff is just flying by and I can't even read it all. So I'll figure that sort of stuff out, guys. Remember, I'm just a bumpkin that likes to drink beer and work with wood, so I'm figuring all this stuff out, same as everybody else. But chug it, clearly. That's a wise man right there. Sorry, I never went to college. I never went to major chug parties. So honestly, I couldn't crack a beer. Maybe I should just take an axe and like chop the back of this thing off and just bong it. Beer chugging is not my skill set. So I'm gonna call it a night, guys. It's been super fun hanging out with you. Appreciate you all coming back after my ridiculous technical difficulties. And I think we're gonna make this like a monthly little get together where we can all hang out and get to know each other a little bit better. And I'll try and keep up with this insane stream of comments that's coming through the screen here. But it's been a great hangout. Obviously, this YouTube live stuff is awesome. And then maybe instead of doing all these What's Up Wednesday videos, which half of you guys don't even like, I'll just do this stuff from now on, and we can all get together that way. So cheers to the first YouTube live stream of the Samurai Carpenter. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate all my sponsors and guys that support this channel. It means a lot to me, and I wish I could shake all your hands and crack a beer with you in person, but until then, the interweb is just gonna have to suffice. So until next time, guys, Samurai out.